welcome back to our channel. I'm Danielle, your resident romantic.
And I'm Lindsay, the fantasy fan, and we are friends.
Till the book ends. Today we are going to talk about our most excited summer reads. These are books that we highly recommend you read during the summertime because they just give you those great summer vibes.
Yes, the vibes are intact.
Yes, the vibes are vibing. So to start off our summer selections, Alex Approximately by Jen Bennett. Funny story on this, Lindsay and I both chose this as a summer recommendation, so if we are both recommending it, it is a very...
It's like underlined.
Yes, like underlined, bold, and italic, which you're not supposed to do, but like that's how important this is. Honestly, any of Jen Bennett's books would be great. Mm-hmm. This one just gives the most summer vibes, I find. So it is happening over summer. You have Bailey and Alex. Both of them are working in, a museum, I believe?
Some weird museum thing.
Right,
yeah.
So both of them are working in a museum. So the fun part about Bailey and Alex is that they used to not live in the same town. They had online personas where they were on, I believe, a forum where they talk about film, because they're huge film geeks. And, you have your usernames. So they know each other through usernames, and then they meet up in person without realizing that's who they're talking to online. And so it's kind of this fun, anonymous know each other, and then also the two people online are like, oh well, I'm hanging out with someone else this summer, so I don't know if I can talk to you. And then there's kind of a vibe that happens there while they're actually getting to know each other in real life, and so it's very funny.
Cute, yeah.
There's a lot of film, and I think they have some movie setups on the beach kind of thing, and it gives you really strong summer vibes. It's also a YA romance as well, so I'm always going to recommend a YA romance.
Those are good for summer.
Spoiler, I think all of the recommendations I have today are actually YA romance, so.
So, the first book that I'm going to recommend is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. This is such a perfect summer read. So in it, we're following Olive, who is used to kind of being the unlucky twin. Her twin sister wins contests, and I know that's very specific, but she, anytime she enters something, she wins it. So her twin sister is marrying this guy, and she enters to win an all-inclusive paid honeymoon, and she wins it. However, during the reception, the entire bridal party, including the bride and groom, get food poisoning, except for Olive and the groom's brother, Ethan, because they don't eat, I think it was shrimp or something. They didn't eat the food that made everybody else sick. So in order to keep the honeymoon, the bride and the groom gift it to Olive and Ethan and say, you have to pretend to be us when you go there, or else you won't be able to and keep the honeymoon. Right. So Olive and Ethan do not like each other. It's more of a one-sided hate kind of thing. Olive really doesn't like Ethan for some very poor comments and vibes he gave off when they first met. But now they're forced to pretend to be a married couple in order to go on this honeymoon together, and a whole bunch of things happen. It's really a great and cute book. It's so summery because it's set in Maui, and who doesn't want to pretend they're in Maui this summer? So it's so cute. The cover is adorable. It's got flamingos and toucans and a whole bunch of adorable things on it. But so summery, so sweet, and it's Enemies to Lovers, which is my fave. And I think, in my opinion, this is the best Christina Lauren book. So if you're looking for a good place to start, this is it.
Next one I'm going to recommend is Did I Mention I Love You by Estelle Mescame.
Something.
This is a trilogy. The next one is Did I Mention I Need You? And the last one is Did I Mention I Miss You? This setup is very focused on summer because the book takes place in summer. Basically, Eden, for whatever reason, goes to live with her dad all the way in California. And living there, the dad is, of course, married, so she has stepbrothers she gets to meet, and she meets Tyler. And...
Ooh, this is a little taboo. Okay.
Oh, really? I have a bunch of books about, step-siblings. Because they're not related. Okay. Anyway... So this one starts as a hate to love. When I remember reading it, there wasn't a whole lot of actual hate. It was more of, excuse you? But then also oh, excuse you. That's the only way I can describe it.
I am interested, I guess.
Good. You should be.
From that brief synopsis.
Basically, they're getting to know each other. As she starts to realize that he may not be so bad, she starts to realize that he may be very, very good. And They hang out a lot. They do a lot of partying, rule breaking, pier hanging. It says it on the back. I'm copying it.
Pier hanging. Ooh.
Yes, it says pier hanging. So there's a lot of summer vibes going on here, as well as some young adult romance. Also just general, like, young adult, the world is your oyster kind of vibe that you get on summers.
Oysters,
Like,
yes.
I'm gonna go off, like, you know, oysters. So I think that this is a great trilogy. I read this when I was on summer vacation on a cruise a couple years ago, and I just binged the whole thing in like a week, less than. So I would really recommend it for a summer vibe reading.
So the next book that I'm going to recommend is The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager, and this is actually a thriller. So in it, we're following Emma, who went to this camp when she was younger, and she played this game, Two Truths and a Lie, with her cabin mates all the time. Her cabin mates were Vivian, Natalie, and Allison. They were actually, I think, a year or two older than Emma, so Emma very much looked up to them and was kind of like the fourth member of the group. However, one night, the three girls sneak out of the cabin without Emma, and then they disappear forever and are never seen again. So Emma has had a lot to deal with from that past kind of trauma, but she's a up-and-comer in the New York art scene, and the owner of the camp reaches out to her and says, hey, I'm opening up because after the three girls disappeared, the camp shut down.
Sure.
The owner says, I'm opening up again, and I want you to be our head art counselor for the summer.
Oh, wow.
And Emma goes with kind of the purpose of she's determined to figure out what happened to the three girls. And it's very, I mean, it's summer camp vibes, clearly. But I loved this. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars, and I think this is one of like only 2 or 3 thrillers that I've ever given 5 stars to, because I usually find the plot very, like, I could predict it. This one came out of left field, but not in a way that I was like, this makes no sense, in a way that I was like, haha, that was smart. And Riley Sager is actually from near us.
Oh.
So he is a local writer, and he's actually doing an event at my library in July.
Oh, really?
For the release of his new book.
That's
so
exciting.
I think I'm going to go to that.
You should.
I think I might, because you get a signed copy, and I'm nothing if not a sucker for signed things.
I know, right?
But this was so good. It was so campy and like summer fun, but also like weird. So good. I loved it, and you should read it.
Alright, so the next one that I really think gives summer vibes is This Is What Happy Looks Like by Jennifer E. Smith.
I feel like I've seen that cover.
You probably have. Jennifer E. Smith has written actually quite a few young adult romance books. A lot of them usually take place over the summer. I just felt like this one gave me more than her other books did, so that's why I'm going to choose this one. This is a very cute setup because it's focusing on Graham, who is a superstar. I believe he's a singer. And Ellie, who's just, for reference of the book, you know, a small town nobody kind of thing. Like,
she's a nobody.
Yeah.
She's normal. She's a person.
I'm pretty sure when she first meets Graham physically, she doesn't even know that he's a celebrity kind of thing. So she's very much out of the loop. But they accidentally start talking because she has to send an email, or he has to send an email, and they get the email wrong, and it actually goes to the other person as opposed to whoever it was meant to go to.
Okay.
So they start up this, like, you know, virtual friendship. They talk for a while. They share pictures of, like,
this is like
their
You've
pets.
Got Mail.
I don't know that one.
Oh. It's like an 80s movie.
Okay, sure. It's like You've Got Mail. But it's very cute to start off with, and then it's actually focused on a summer because he comes over to where she lives to film. That's what he is. He's a movie star. So he comes to film a movie that's being made, and that is when they accidentally meet in person, and they go on all these summer trips. They go boating. They go on some kind of like crab fest kind of thing, because I think she's in Maryland or something. So it's very like seafood centered, and it just has a lot of like cute like summer beach trip vibes, and it's very innocent love too. It's YA, of course.
Yeah.
This is one of her few books that I could actually reread anytime because it's so sweet. Maine, that is where it was. Yes. Wrong M. It's very cute. So if you're really into those like cutesy little romances, I think you guys would enjoy reading this over the summer.
So the next one that I want to chat about as being a really perfect summer fantasy read is All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace. I tabbed this book back when I thought I was like a real booktuber, and I was like, I'm gonna annotate my books, and then I realized that I'm really shitty at annotating, so I stopped. But this book it's a duology series. The series was recently completed, so it's good to go.
Good.
So in it, we're following a girl named Amora, who is the heir to this island kingdom, and the heirs specifically to the throne have a special power where they can do like bone magic kind of thing. And when she reaches her birthday, they do a whole big celebration because she's going to take over from her father, who's in charge currently. But something goes awry with her magical demonstration because they have to kind of prove that they are capable of handling their ancestral magic. And something goes wrong, and she has to flee her island. And she meets Bastion, who is a pirate, who offers to help her flee in exchange for helping him. He will help her if Amara helps him reclaim his stolen magic, because each of the different islands in this kingdom has a certain type of magic that they practice, and Bastion's was stolen from him. So he wants her to help him get it back, and she wants his help reclaiming her kingdom and her throne and her rightful place. It's very cute. It's set on the sea, and it's like summer vibes. So it's very summery. I mean, the cover's really cool. Danielle said it was beautiful.
It is. Like, I want to read it just for the cover.
Yeah, and it goes, like, there's romance in it, and I would say that the romance is the main plot of the first book, but not the second book. But it's good. No, but it's, like, for a good reason. But, like,
I don't like the sound of that.
There's still romance.
But that's okay.
No, there's still romance, but there's, like, overarching, like, a plot of, like, something suspicious is happening. Maybe Amara's father isn't telling her everything about her magic, and we kind of find out family secrets and things like that. But it's set on the sea. There's pirates. There's love. There's, like, fun. There's a mermaid. Like, you can't go wrong with this book in the summer. It was a really fun, quick read, and I recommend it.
The next one that I think you guys should read over the summer is My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick. This, just like This Is What Happy Looks Like, this gives major summer vibes with all the activities that they're doing. So basically the setup is that you have Samantha Reed, and her house, her family is very immaculate and to the point, because her mother, I believe, is a mayor. She's a local politician, and she wants to run for a larger position. And so her mother wants everything to be in perfect condition, in perfect place, because everything has to go right.
Yes.
So that is Samantha's life. Like, you can't step out of line. And then a couple years ago, in moved the Garretts. And particularly, Jace Garrett is one who is an important one.
Jace is such a quintessential 2000s main character love interest name. Just saying. I love it.
So basically, the Garretts, their entire family is crazy and wild. They have, like, 5 or 7 children.
Too many.
There's too many to keep clean. There's, like, always toys in the yard and stuff. And of course, Samantha's mom is like, those Garretts. But Samantha is like, Jace. And what starts off as friends kind of leads into something more. There's a lot of, like, summer activities that they do. There's also there's a very good plot twist in here that I was not expecting for a YA romance, but I think that it is incorporated perfectly, and there kind of is a balance between secrets, not secrets. I'm gonna start to spoil it. I'm gonna stop it with there. There's lots of secrets involved, but it's very summery, because it's also kind of Samantha is starting to realize that she needs to take her life in her own hands, and it gives you that independent, I'm transitioning to an adult summer vibes. And also, their love is just very cute.
No, it does sound cute. The next book that I'm going to recommend as a summer read is The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. And this book is so good. Have you read this?
You've recommended it to me many times, but I have not read it yet.
Good. This book was a 5 out of 5 stars. I read it last summer, so maybe that's part of the reason why I feel like it's so summery. But I love romance in the summer. Essentially, in this book, we're following Stella, who has Asperger's. And she is a very, very good at her job. Like, she gets everything done on time. She makes mega money. And however, her parents are still like, but dating. Because that's the one part of Stella's life where she hasn't quite figured it out. So in order to kind of practice, she decides that she's going to hire a male escort whose name is Michael Fan. And he is this half Vietnamese, half Swedish god of a person who waltzes into her life. And I love this. This is a dual perspective book. So you get both Stella's thoughts and Michael's thoughts as they're kind of navigating this whole relationship, because Stella is not comfortable doing things physically with men. So she's like, can you teach me how to kiss? Can you teach me how to do things? And she thinks in a very, like, analytical, mathematical sense, while Michael is much more about, like, the emotions and the feelings and things like that. So, just such a good book. Like, it deals... Like, the representation is fantastic. It deals with, like, racism and cultural expectations and also, like, societal expectations and things like that, but also being, like, the cutest romance. Like, Stella and Michael belong together. Like, I feel that on like a deep love level. And there's other books in the series. The second one, I believe, follows a side character in this book, and then the third book, which is the finale of the series, comes out this August, and it follows Michael's cousin, who is one of my favorite characters. So I'm super excited to finish out the series, but you should definitely start it. This is a great time to start it since it's being finished. And this will just give you all the sweet, sweet feels and will make you want your own Michael in your life.
Alright, last one I'm going to recommend is Breathe by Abby Glines. I have talked about this, I think, in our almost 5-star video, because I gave this a 4.5. It is, well, I'm going to use your words and say a quintessential summer romance. So I would say this is a mix of YA and adult, because it's mostly YA vibes. I believe there are a couple of sexy scenes.
It looks like there would be.
Yes, there are certainly a couple of sexy scenes. This focuses on 17-year-old Sadie. She has just started her summer vacation. Her mother was pregnant and gave birth, but her mother is adjusting to having to deal with a baby, because of course it's been 17 years since she's given birth, and the dad is not in the picture, so it's just Sadie and her mom. Her mom was working at Jack Stone's residence. Jax is a highly popular musician. He's got like a whole big mansion, has maids, has chefs. So Sadie's mother was one of the maids there. And the Stone family hadn't been there for a while. I don't even think that Sadie really knew Jax existed, kind of thing. Jax is also Sadie's age. And Sadie was like, let me take my mom's job. I'll be the maid for the summer. We need the money. Like, let me fill in for her. And the head maid is like, okay, fine. That's fine. And on her first job, she actually meets Jax. And at first, she doesn't quite care. But Jax is like, Sadie, I care. And what starts this, like, whirlwind romance over the summer. And they do a lot of, like, summer vibe type things. They go on a lot of trips. I think there's one time that they, like, go off into a secret garden and spend time together.
Cute.
Yes. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very sweet with also a little bit of sexiness going on here, and also the vibe of, you have to stay together, like, let's fight for this, let's do it, let's love each other, kind of thing. So you guys would really enjoy reading that if you enjoy summer romances.
Alright, so the last book that I'm recommending you, Danielle does not, and that'll be coming in a later Wine Wednesday, so keep an eye out for that. That is Beach Read by Emily Henry. So I read this book last year, and this book, like, changed my life. And my sister read it, and it changed her life. She is obsessed with this book. She said it was her favorite book she read last year.
Wow.
And this was in my top 10 for sure. But essentially, we're following Augustus, who is this, like, acclaimed literary fiction writer, and January, who is a best-selling romance writer. But January's father recently passes, and it comes to light that he has had a lifelong affair with another woman, and January is absolutely shattered and devastated by that, because she is, like, much like Danielle, she is, like, a full-blown romantic. Like, she loves love. Everything about her life is related to love.
Hashtag hopeless romantic.
Yes, she's a hopeless romantic. So the fact that her father's infidelity, like, comes to light really changes January, and it makes her unable to write and finish a romance book that she has promised her publisher she's going to finish. So she ends up heading to her father's beach house, which is also his love shack with this lady. So it's empty. The lady does not live there. So January shows up, and she finds out that her next door neighbor is her college nemesis, Gus, who writes the literary fiction. And the two decide that in order to kind of get over the writer's block they're both experiencing, that they're going to switch roles. So January is going to write the literary fiction book, and Gus is going to write January's romance book. And this was so cute. Like, obsessed with it, because it deals with things like family issues, grief, also being able to kind of forgive people, and also the romance aspect was really sweet. I totally believed these two were, like, soulmates. Aww. And it just was so sweet. And Gus is, like, the quintessential, like, grumpy. Like, he's not mean, but he's definitely kind of, like,
he's a grumpy Gus.
Yeah, he's a grumpy Gus. Yes, and January is so, like, idealistic, and it's just the combo of the two works well. Also, it gave me small town vibes, and it's set on a beach, and the book title is literally Beach Read. So if this isn't summer, I don't know what is.
Yeah, if you don't read it on a beach, you're doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong.
Yes, so as she hinted at, I maybe have some unfavorable opinions, but if you want to hear them, you're going to have to check out our future Wine Wednesday video. That is it that we have to share for you for summer reads. If you have other books that you want to recommend for summer reading, feel free to leave them in the comments. I don't know about you, Lindsay, but I'm still trying to build my summer reading list,
yes,
so
always.
I'm always open for recommendations for that. Let us know what you guys think, and we'll catch you in our next video.
Bye.